We have made a lot of advancements since the beginning of education when it comes to technology. From the mid-16th century to the late 19th century, the horn book, pictured here, was used quite frequently. It listed the alphabet for children to learn and trace with their fingers. A lot has changed since then. Moving on, in 1890, the chalkboard was presented to classrooms. While this seems very old school to us, this was a huge deal back in this time period. James Pillins, inventor of the chalkboard, was a geography teacher at a high school in Scotland. He simply hung a large piece of slate on his classroom wall, and education leaped forward drastically. 10 years later, the invention of the pencil came out. This is found in classrooms all over the world today. Something as simple as the pencil has changed education as a whole. Eventually, pencils were able to be mass-produced and easily accessible to everyone. They eventually replaced the school slate. In 1925, the film projector made a debut in classrooms. This was a huge advancement because students could finally learn in ways other than just reading. The film projector was invented prior to its appearance in classrooms, as most technology is. Jumping into the 40s, the ballpoint pen came to classrooms across the U.S. in 1940. They were expensive and not really available to the public as basic necessities until 1945. Ballpoint pens changed the world of education because they could perform tasks that fountain pens simply could not. 10 years later, headphones became popular in classrooms. This was a huge game changer because students could now listen to lessons repetitively and with very little distraction. The tiny headphones we know today are different than the bulky ones students used many years ago. 1 year later, in 1951, classrooms were introduced to videotapes. What would classrooms be like today if we could not watch educational videos? Streaming videos online through YouTube was unheard of in this time period, but being able to rewind and watch a videotape was huge news. In 1958, educational television became popular. It wasn't until the early 60s, though, that there were more than 50 channels of TV that included educational programming for children to watch while they weren't at school. Jumping ahead to a more recent time, the smartboard was invented in 1999. Now students didn't have to just write on the whiteboard, they could also interact with the touch screen. Now, just 7 years ago, in 2010, the Apple iPad became available to everyone. Classrooms, personal, and in the workplace. Look how far we've come, all the way from the horn book to an interactive touch screen tablet that can basically access anything.